Hello, my name is Erica, and welcome to this week's Battle Report on Tried and True. Shout out to our patrons who support our channel. It's a huge help. Thank you so much. If you enjoy our content, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and keep up to date with our Bat Rep and podcast releases. If you'd like to support the channel directly, a link to our Patreon can be found in the video description below. Our match today was recorded using the 2021-2022 Steamroller Rules Scenario 2 Bunkers. Welcoming back to the channel with a mixed arms list of Trollbloods and Pharaoh is our local Community Minions player, Pete. Good to have you back. Please discuss your list, army objectives, and goals going into the game.
Alright, so I'm bringing Warlock that I love the fluff for, Lord Carver, Bringer of Most Massive Destruction, Esquire the Third. Humans have titles, so that means they're important, so he has all the titles because he wants to be respected by human society. He's playing in the Vengeance of Dunya theme, which is really cool because it's kind of like a Pharaoh Trollbloods matchup. And lists built under this theme are legal for both Trolls and Minions players. Now Carver does two things very well. He's got mobility, and he's got a signature spell called Bat Down the Hatches. So his battle group gets up to well above 20 armor, but it tanks their defense, and mobility lets them go very, very fast. So in this theme, he brings an Axer, he brings some big heavies, and it's also a lot of fun to put a Troll Colossal on the table with him. So I've got my precious Sea King there today. To kind of back him up, I've sunk some heavy points into some ranged options. I've got Des and Gubbin, I've got the dreaded Mirage team that everybody hates in Visions. I've got a Gunnery Sergeant to help them out a little bit, Dunya Nut for some free Puppet Masters, and who doesn't love some Valkyries for those 3 ship guards.
Returning with an army of Protectorate is one of our own tried and true podcast hosts, Andy. Welcome back to the channel. Please share with us what you brought today and list thoughts going into the match.
I brought Anson Durst, the Rock of Faith. I'm playing in Faithful Masses. I'm playing a large brick of jacks. I got 2 shield jacks, an Inditer, and a Templar. I'm playing a Reckoner for the threat of a gun, because I need at least one of those. A Purifier, and a Devout. I have a couple super solos, Champion of the Order of the Wall, and 2 Manite Archons, double Vassal for free, Dart and Vilman, Covenant Menoth, a Max Choir, and 2 units of Initiates. Essentially the goal of the list is just to be the biggest potato I can be. I really want to project threat and force my opponent to have a really, really bad alpha. The ideal situation for the list is basically to feat, have a Manite Archon and a unit of Initiates attached to a Shield Jack, and just make them all really, really difficult to kill while attached to an Armor 25 Heavy that will not take damage.
Can Lord Carver, along with his Sea King and his hard-hitting Pharaoh, crack the Rock of Faith shields and armor? Let's get to the table and roll off.
Okay, so we're playing on bunkers. My objective is Pathfinder. Pete, what's your Pathfinder? Stop being crazy.
What's my Pathfinder?
Sorry, what's your
My objective is Magical Weapon, just in case he pops his choir on his jacks there.
Your swiftly moving hands were really distracting me. We're going through the terrain right now. So up top we have an impassable rock. We have a cloud up top and a cloud down the bottom. We have a forest on the right and then a house. And then in the middle we have a couple trenches. 2 of them were set there by your theme. Bottom left we have a forest. All the way at the bottom we have a wall. And then I think that's what is that? It's an on fire...
a crater.
Crater?
It's a fancy word for trench.
Alright, so my first turn... yeah. Alright, so my first turn, I'm running up as aggressively as I can. I have quite a few shield guards to make sure nobody gets shot. So I want the Manite Archons front and center. My Champion of the Wall is going to hide behind that cloud and not do anything offensively because of that, unfortunately. Running up my Reckoner behind the forest. I want him to project as much threat as I can just to make you think about shield guards. I am really going myself in the middle because that's what a Durst list does. I throw my Hierophant up. I cast Harmonious Exaltation. Then with Durst, I cast Bulwark on myself. Gives all of my jacks and myself +2 defense while we're base to base. And then I go ahead and balancedly charge the Templar. If you balancedly charge a speed 4 model, you get an extra inch from charging than you would from running. My Devout is going to be base to base with Durst to make him spell immune, and that's just good muscle memory. Purifier runs up as far as it can. Initiates are going to get in shield guard range from everybody. And then we got Vassals just running up, getting ready for next turn. Then I run up the choir and spread out. That is my turn 1. I am Brick.
Alright, now Carver looks at all of these zealots and decides that he needs to make his counter move. So as I tend to do, my opening move here is going to be just walking Des and Govin up and hoping for some lucky scatters. Way back when, I had a game where I took out Dahlia and Scarith with a lucky bottom of 2 mini feet, and ever since then, it's a gamble I like to take because she doesn't do all that much first turn, and she's got the range. So I've got my Gunnery Sergeant there. He's kind of boxed in, so he doesn't move. He just pops the buff on her. And basically, I pick a target with my Arcing Fire. I'm going to come up short and scatter anyway. And I'm going to hope and get lucky and kill some choir. Because my beasts sit at armor 23, 24 for the Sea King, if I can get lucky and take some of those choir off the table, that sets me up for a really good game. Because without that buff, his jacks just, they don't break 20. And so it becomes really hard for him to damage them. It doesn't pan out, though. I think I get like 2 damage on Durst, and the rest of it just kind of ends up killing some trees there. But that's okay. That's the gamble. And just pop some stuff with some high armor things you got there.
I was really pissing my pants on this.
Me too. It is a high risk, high reward first move. Blowing the mini feet first turn can come back to bite me later, but if it pays off, it pays off. It's basically a free alpha attempt.
Yeah, she took so much risk sitting there in that trench. She looks so scared.
Just risking resources, really. I mean, she's really in no danger. Des is stronger than she has any right to be. She's like under the stone. She's a 14, 18 with 8 boxes. She really is tougher than she needs to be. Alright, so Carver moves up. He throws down Batten Down the Hatches, his signature spell. So his battle group gets 3 armor, but they lose 2 defense. So he basically turns his minion beasts into Khador Jacks. Then he pops the rest of his fury on his stone. Those Valkyries move up. They try to get a nice position. The stone moves up. The stone spends its 1 fury to put the armor aura out. Really nice combined with Batten Down. That's what gives his beast such staying power in this theme. And then I'm going to roll and see how much extra fury I can get. Seasoning the stone, I roll that big 6 on a d3. So we go up to 9 with that 5 plus 4 for the aura gives me a 9-inch aura. You do get another free effect with that with the stone's unit attachment. I go for anti-continuous. He's got a couple crit fires there. Warhog comes up. Warhog's just trying to stay out of charge range of his jack, but be nice and threatening. Got our Axer there, my Rush Animus bot, backing up his pig friend. More threatening. He walks up, he just walks right through that objective because, you can move through it. And then I've got back here my barrage team. They're going to follow Des and Gubbin's lead, hope for some free scatters. Everything over there is pretty high armor, though. They don't really get anything from it. But, it's free damage. Maybe I hit something, maybe I spike, maybe I scatter on the right thing. It's, as long as I'm not feel like I'm going to clock myself later in the game, it's worth it. But if you're a higher model count, it's not always the best idea, just because, it'll eat a minute or 2 doing that early in the game. Now I try to figure out where I'm going to put my Sea King. We do have that flaming crater there, which I'm considering putting my Sea King that far up. So I use the Pirate Roll, and I pop the Flaming Fist Animus on my Sea King. Now, in addition to increasing his melee damage, it does give him immunity fire, which both takes that crater away from setting him on fire, but also it protects him if you decide to to use some of your jack shots. I think most of them are damage type fire, so that protects him from being planked and keeps the Valkyries from having to use a shield guard that early in the game.
I think you wisely kept him out of 12 of all of my heavies, unfortunately.
I do think I might have played him too safe, because he could take a heavy or two, but they were all still front and center. If he moved up that far, he probably would have gotten all three. He can't survive all three.
Yeah, there's no way a single heavy in my list is going to be able to one-round him, unfortunately, for me. Alright, however, this is the start of my turn. I'm going to upkeep Bulwark. I power up. Nothing was hit on my turn, so there's no vengeance to be had on my Menite Archons. I don't believe I give out any focus, but I do give out Pathfinder to the Reckoner, because I know he's kind of buried behind there. Pay no attention to my ginger ale, it's delicious. I'm taking a look at his lower Warhog here. I'm thinking about taking a nice big pot shot with the Reckoner, seeing what I can cripple, and if I get close to crippling something, then maybe I follow it up with the Menite Archon to see if I can make it so that he has... I grievously wound him. So my goal here is to just take out his mind or something. He's got the Warhog outside of 12 of the Reckoner, so I can't charge it. And I don't really want to anyway. I really don't want to be super aggressive here. Durst really wants to dirtle up the table like the paladin that he is. We'll call him Paladin. He's not fat. He's big boned. But they're so warm and toasty. So I think I'm taking a little bit of time mathing out, is it worth it to throw in the Menite Archon? So I use the Vassal. I give the Reckoner an extra focus so he can both boost a hit and boost damage. I use the Vassal on the right-hand side to enliven the Templar for later in the turn, in case I play him aggressively. And then I continue to stand there, watching my clock slowly drain away.
Look, man, feral pigs are scary. They're there, they're using tools.
They are when they're armor 28, whatever they are right now. So I walk up. Everybody battles, I believe. I think the only one that's really going to care about it is the Reckoner, but I'm not really scared of anything targeting my jacks when it comes to spells and ranged attacks. So battle it is, just to get an extra 2 damage on this Warhog, which is really all I'm going to get this turn. So I finally decide, here I go, I'm going to boost a hit damage on this Warhog. Boost a hit first. I hit, I do not crit, so he's not on fire.
Defense
he's immune to fire anyway. Yep. And then we boost damage.
Yeah.
We chunk a good chunk of damage into his 2.
16? Yeah.
It is a 16,
that
correct.
was still like 7 damage. That's not bad.
So I have his 2 gone. If I can get 3 damage onto his 1 and grievously wound him, he's a real dumb hog. Unfortunately, I hid my Paladin behind that cloud when I didn't really need to. I could have played him more aggressively and maybe got an extra charging power 16 in there. So this is probably a little too aggressive. I'm throwing this Archon hoping that it just ruins his heavy's day. I hit with the power 15 sword. I chunk a good chunk of damage into his 5. And then I swing with the grievously wound flail. I don't think I really do much here with that. I do that to his 6, and he is fully functional. He's grievously wounded, but it does not matter. So my Archon's swinging in the breeze. So I get a little aggressive here with my initiates. The goal is to basically kind of block off my flag and make it really annoying for you to contest on scenario. I'm probably throwing good after bad here. I probably didn't need to block that off. I move out my Champion of the Wall. I'm not sure what I do with the book here. I think I'm hemming and hawing trying to figure out where I want it to be. I think I move it back a lot. Pete is being very gracious as I attempt to not die.
As fun as it would be to take a jack off the table, I'd rather take something else off my next turn. If you want to leave him back a little bit, that's okay.
It's not Durst, is it?
There was a moment where I considered getting the Sea King on Durst. I don't think he would have done much, but it would have been fun.
As long as if he's under feet, as long as he's base to base with a jack, it's really difficult to assassinate him. If it's not his feet turn, he's defense 15 under bulwark. Maybe he doesn't just automatically die. I move over to the right-hand side because there's easier stuff to do over here. I run the Purifier up a little bit aggressively because he's defense 17 when he's base to base with a friend, which is really annoying. I run the Initiates up even further. I really like having the Initiates in front when I'm not worried about guns very much, because they're really good screening models, and they're really good for making my Jacks and my Archons angry. So I'm basically blocking charge pass with the Initiates and with my book. I don't believe I sang for anything with the book, and I'm just leaving my 2 heavies base to base in my zone for now, I think. I know I'm giving him the alpha. I know that's not going to be an amazing alpha, but he's definitely going to take a chunk of my army off the table. I run the Devout base to base with the Purifier. They're not the hardiest of Jacks right now, but they're really annoying to bring down, and you don't really want to spend a Gargantuan just to remove them, because then the Gargantuan dies to 3 heavies. I essentially locate the Man Archon, knowing I've thrown away the one on the bottom, because I'm going to need to figure out where that other one's going to be. Hierophant goes over to Durst. I believe Durst casts Deceleration for 2, making any drifts a little harder to kill stuff.
Not need those shield cards is the fact that he's just got decel all day anyway.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, Choir's still going to die to blast damage, but now they're armor 14, I guess.
Alright, so now, this turn I know I'm taking out an Archon. So that's going to be the first thing I plan for. I start with Carver. So Carver has another spell we didn't talk about yet called Quagmire. It's 2 Fury, he puts on a model unit, and anything base to base with them loses 2 defense, and can't move except to change facing. So it's really good for shutting down things that have, dodge, or enliven, or anything like that. If you can get them in, get base to base, they can't move, they're stuck with you there. We do forget about something until much later on. You'll see me put out the Pyrotroll Animus to give my Hog a little bit more hitting power. His Archon has Ashen Veil, but Ashen Veil doesn't work on things that are immune to fire. It doesn't make a big difference in this lower side of the board, but it's something to remember if you're a Troll or Pharaoh player playing into Menoth. Pyrotroll just it takes that hit debuff away.
Yeah, I don't think we even thought about that here. I mean, it definitely didn't matter on this one, but... Are you asking me about threat ranges?
I'm trying
right
to
now?
figure out where everything's going. There's a couple things I gotta do to set up this Hog in the bottom. I gotta go at Carver. Obviously put on Batten down and cast that Quagmire. The Stone wants to go first because one of the Stone auras is that extra 1 strength. So we'll give you, 1 extra strength on the Hog. The Hog actually moves out of the aura anyway, but he ends up not needing it. And then after that, it's just kind of getting the right things out of the way and getting everything, getting all my pigs in a row, so I can go up and eat that Archon. Alright, so here he goes. He's got his Flaming Fist Animus, he's got Quagmire on him. He's going to get Puppet Master from my Dunia Knot here. It's a 3-person unit, each one casts Puppet Master, range 10, so they just kind of, snipe it from the back. They put 1 on my Warhog, 1 on my Sea King, and the other one goes on my Valkyries there, so they can do some stuff later on. My Hog uses his ability, Aggression Dial, so he takes a little bit of damage at the end of his turn, but it increases his strength by 2, so he rolls in with that Flaming Fist Animus. He's swinging 2 POW 20s and a POW 19. So he puts himself up, he goes base to base with that Archon, base to base with one of these Initiates, and then he rolls his first Cleaver on this Archon. He hits it. 2 1s was scary though. He got that 7 he needed. And then here comes the big swing. I think he's got to do. He's doing +5. He's got to roll an 11 to kill this Archon, and he rolls it. That's 11 damage. Just one shots the Archon.
Yeah, my 15 health Archon has been one shot.
Felt good.
He's 9 points.
It's 14-point check.
Oh yeah, that pisses off my.
He's like,
my
I'm going to
palate.
get you next turn.
He's upset.
There's a moment where I think I have overtake because I play too much will work for food, and it doesn't help that Carver does actually grant his beasts overtake on the feet, but we don't. So he scoots back. He clavers a couple of initiates. You know, he's a big pig. He's swinging way too hard, way more than is reasonable. Kills a couple. Doesn't quite have range on that third one. That's that Warhug. He's sitting. He's a little worried about that Protectorate heavy looking at him, but he did some work and he's happy about it. So I've got my my Axer here is going to try and kill that one initiate and screen his heavy. He's got to either charge in or cast Rush and walk in because he doesn't have mobility from Carver this turn. So he's got to either get the distance or get Pathfinder somehow. In the end, I end up just walking him up and taking the swing on that last initiate, which is good because the initiate has set defense. So just taking the walk hit keeps him from having that little bonus. So he hangs out there, takes his one swing after finding a spot he can move and still be in range. 2 for the Animus Selfcast, 1 for the swing. Get a little boost in there. He hits. With that Stone Aura, he's rolling a 15 as straight dice. He takes the last initiate off the board. Alright, now I look at this other side. We've got a Sea King, we've got some Valkyries, we've got my Pyre Troll. Trying to figure out what I want to do here. It's tempting to get this Sea King right up into those initiates, but again, a couple heavies. It's a little worrying. I like my Sea King too much to have him taken off the table this early in the game.
I keep licking my chops going, please let me balance charge everything.
So he just kind of scoots up. He swings on one guy. He's got 5 Fury, so I'm like, I'll take a couple 50-50s. I miss 3 attacks in a row. It is 50-50s miss 100% of the time. That is the takeaway from this entire match. If you're considering boosting and you need a 7 to hit, take the boost. So he uses his initial, he buys 3 attacks, he's only got 2 Fury left, so he buys one last and just boosts it. Takes him out with his POW 21 attack. I do piss off that Archon, but that's just kind of par for the course when you're fighting Menoth. Everything's going to piss somebody off.
Crucially, you have lowered the
Yes.
armor of the other 2 initiates.
Yeah, once you get one initiate down, they get a lot easier to take off the board. So now,
Oh, you cranked the damage roll into my shield guard too.
this is that Des and Gubbin shot, I think. So she just kind of stayed where she was and trying to get a POW 14 on those guys. It ends up scattering back a little bit and does do a couple damage to one of the initiates, but it doesn't do all that much. Although I roll a big 11 on that POW 14 and end up doing 5 damage to your Jack, which is more than I thought the shield guard hit was going to do. So now we've got some Valkyries. We've got a book. We've got 2 initiates there. But before I send them in, I'm going to try to sneak some Barrage Team around. Now, with D-Cell on his whole army, the Barrage Team really isn't going to do anything. You know, his Jacks are going to be 20s. His Solos are in the 20s. So they just kind of decide to run up, and they're just going to body shield the Sea King. You know, people always talk about their range game, but, you know, they're 5 boxes under the stone. Their armor 18. They can take a couple hits. If you find out they're not doing work with their weapons, just run them up and screen them. They're just as good as a pack of Valkyries. My Pyre Troll sneaks up around the side there. He tries to get a little bit of damage on these guys. They shield guard each other to keep themselves safe. He ends up doing 3 or 4 damage to both of them, but doesn't quite take them all out. I do think he ends up killing one in the back there, though.
Oh, I think at some point you thought I had the other Jack had shield guard.
Yeah.
But yes, they are shield guarding each other, not back to a Jack.
It's funny when they just shield guard each other. It's like, I'll take this one, you take the next one, it's fine.
Yeah, please, we don't want to die anymore. Our armor is as low as it needs to be.
Alright, so now we're down to 1 initiate, and he's on fire. Now my Valkyries are licking their chops a little bit. But first we go in for the ground pounder. So the Gunnery Sergeant is a 3-point troll solo. It's got that that +2 rat bonus and rerolls that it can do to AoE attacks on other units. But it also has a ranged weapon called Ground Pounder. And now it's range 20, which is a little bit insane, but it's inaccurate, and he's only rat 5. So he plops down just a 4-inch template anywhere he wants, and he rolls an individual attack on each of them, which means that rat 1, he's not going to hit anything except your objective. Your objective is a stationary thing. So, POW 14 into an 18, it's not a lot of damage, but it's basically free damage. So he pops it in there.
No, it's definitely a smart use. I didn't even know he had that ability.
It's another one of those things that doesn't do much, but if you've got the time on your clock, it's worth throwing the rolls out. I was hoping for a boxcars on a choir member again, but it doesn't happen.
Leave the poor choir boys alone.
Their life is hard enough. They gotta live with the rest of your army. So my Valkyries run in. She takes a charge on that last initiate. She misses both her attacks. I forget that they have a Puppet Master, so she maybe could have done some more work and taken that guy off the table. But then my other 3 put 4 damage into your book, which doesn't quite kill it, but it does mean that if the book is a problem at any point in the game, I only need to commit 1 attack to take it off. And
crucially, I was really hoping you killed the book. Those 2 heavy jacks right behind it would really love the +2 strength.
I mean, it's also in the way there. So keeping it on the table is just a large base that you have to either move or kill yourself or something. Just kind of keeps it in your brain as something you gotta shuffle around before you can do the things you want to do.
You very smartly did not kill the book.
I wasn't thinking about the enrage. I just kind of assume your stuff always has enrage because I'm always killing something. Alright, back to you.
Alright, this is top of 3.
Fire roll.
I have a relatively good
There's that last initiate
advantage, and there goes my poor last initiate. So I've lost 6 initiates, and a Midnight Archon has been peeled off. I'm a little bit down on attrition, but I think I'm in a good position to feat this turn, I think, and just peel off the front of his army. So my Midnight Archon is going to vengeance onto this pig. Right about now. He cooks the pig. The pig is now delicious bacon. I stupidly use the sword instead of my grievously wound weapon, and shows she's destined to knock down. That was unfortunate. I have the tools. You should use them.
The sword is a higher POW, though, right?
It is. And that's the whole reason.
She's an armor 19 with 5 boxes. It's not a terrible choice.
We're taking my vengeance move with my Champ of the Wall. He's still very unsure about what to do this game. So I don't think walking up and hitting your pig at this point would be very smart. I don't think I've realized yet that your pig is outside of the stone. So maybe taking his Weapon Master sword attack as a vengeance move would have been good. So now we're in my control phase. Maintenance phase is over. We're going to power up. eventually.
Jacks don't need focus. It's not a thing.
They
Just pretend they're monstrosities.
They must burn the fuel. So far what I'm looking for this turn is that Inditer really wants to go charge that Warhog down the bottom. I know your Valkyries have a crit knockdown effect on the hammer, and I really don't want to fall victim to that. Here is me looking at the stone on the pig, and your pig is like a half an inch out, like just barely. So he is -2 armor from what I thought he had. He's also been dinged up pretty good, so I definitely want to throw this Inditer at him now. Here we go. Finally going to my control phase. We're going to power up. I believe we're going to give one to the Inditer and allow the vassal to give the other one to him. We're discussing smacking the Warhog in the face with my Inditer.
Gonna get a strongly worded letter from PETA later.
It's time to cook. I am talking to Pete right now about trying to figure out how I want to score this flag. I kind of want to charge this unit, but they only have a half-inch reach. So as I charge over them with my giant flying angel, he'll take a free strike. Might not be the end of the world.
Yeah, they're POW 11 or 10, but they, it's boosted. It's a free strike. It doesn't tickle.
I don't want to if I don't have to. We move the choir up. We're going to battle yet again because we're going to be aggressive.
Latin music intensifies.
Bring the choirs. I move the Purifier up to clear some lanes. I'm now rethinking the Archon play. He does not have Pathfinder, but he is immune to fire. He also has Overtake when he starts to kill stuff. So he is going to bop the knockdown Valkyrie and kill her, and overtake a half an inch. He's going to swing with his other initial, with his other chain attack on the other guy, setting him on fire. Not doing a lot of damage because I'm not rolling very well. So I was anticipating getting another overtake and murdering the guy that's in the cloud. But that's not going to happen, so I'm just going to buy another attack on the guy next to me, who's contesting the flag. So I hit him with the second attack, he rolls his tough roll, and he keels over. I get one more overtake, which I overtake forward again a little bit. I am moderately happy with how this is going, because I'm contemplating how I feat this turn. I'm rethinking where I want to put the Archon.
This is the moment where you consider just running the Archon into my stone and killing like 4 guys.
Yes, that would have been really funny.
I don't think it gets you a whole lot.
Yeah,
but
it's everything you have is bricked up, and I also want to brick up. So it's like, what does shrinking the stone aura really do for me? Your Warhog is already out, and nothing else is really going to be out if I shrink that and throw my Archon away. I really was hoping that Initiate survived, so I could throw him in your zone as like a free throwaway piece in order to stop you from scoring this turn. I don't believe I contest your bunker this turn, unfortunately. We're currently tied 1-1. I run the Vassal over there, anticipating that last Rocketeer, whatever you want to call him, is going to die and not contest. I walk up with my Devout and stab him with my spear. He too does not have Pathfinder, which means he can't get in range with his shield. He does a couple damage and does not kill anybody.
1 box.
Hooray! Look how good he fits. That's where my mana Archon's going to be. He's going to be base to base with both of my jacks when I feat, which makes him really annoying to kill.
He's just crowd surfing on 2 lights. It's fine.
Essentially. The smart thing would have been to have my Templar up there and have the Devout further back as a babysitter for Durst, but this is kind of just how it worked out. Nothing is going to plan so far. I said in the intro, I really want to have two big heavy shield jacks on either side of the board with initiates and a Archon. None of that has happened. The Archon is now charging and threshering the Sea King and hitting the other two with the collateral of his Thresher. So he's up in your face now, being an annoying boy. And now he's dead. And he's alive again. Alright, so I need to make sure that this Inditer does not get knocked over by this Valkyrie. I don't have a whole lot else to put into the Valkyrie, so I've given my Reckoner Pathfinder again. I harmoniously exalt Durst. He has to boundlessly charge the Inditer in order for him to get to the Warhog. But I still have to clear this Valkyrie, because I do not want to take that POW 10 and just die. Or just fall over and have my entire turn ruined. So I walk up with the Reckoner. He's got 2-inch reach, and he boosts to hit. He's a power 19 right now under battle. So he cranks it. She dies. I now have a free charge lane. I walk Durst over. I have a cheap boundless charge due to Harmonious Exaltation. So I cast that for 1. I think Durst camps the rest, and I do not cast Deceleration this turn. The Templar walks back to base Durst, making him effectively unkillable this turn, in case you really wanted to get something on him. I look at your 2-inch reach on your last Valkyrie, making sure that she cannot do anything cheeky. I then charge my Inditer for free, within 1 inch of both of the Warhog and the Axer. He is currently swinging at a power 21. 23 would have been cooler if you pissed him off, but my book is still alive.
Well, on the bright side, he's not in that stone ore, so the Hog's armor is only 21, so
he's hitting straight damage. So on the charge attack, he almost kills him. He's got about 4 boxes left. I think I swing the shield on the Axer, who is in the stone range. So he's armor very, very high. I don't think the shield does anything. I buy my first sword into the Warhog. I hit, and I blow the Warhog up. I have 2 more buys, which I will try to cripple the Axer with. My goal is to score this bottom flag by charging the Axer in the butt with the champ and then repoing back. But I'm quickly realizing with how high the armor is on the Axer, I'm not going to be able to finish him with a champion. So this is starting to depress me. I'm not going to be able to score this flag at all. So I charge him up and impact, knowing it's not going to do much, and then I see Dez, and my eyes light up because I hate Dez.
Everyone hates Dez.
I don't believe I can get in range to impact attack, but I will never enter the Axer's front arc, and I can contest your zone like I wanted to. Not with the model I wanted to do it with, but I'm not scoring this flag anyway, so I'm going to force you to kill this champion while murdering my least favorite model in your army. So champion charges, 3 dice with a cavalry charge, power 16 on the big ol' spear. She does have the stone benefit, so she's armor pretty good. I think it's like dice off 2. And I crank the damage roll pretty hard.
Yep, plenty. She does have tough, but she doesn't make it.
I don't know why she has tough, but she has tough.
I mean, have you seen her arms? She's lifting stuff all day.
Alright, Durst does not have tough.
Durst doesn't need tough.
He's the biggest of boys.
It's all the coronary disease from his snacks.
I charge Vilman in. I just really want to get rid of this Valkyrie. I don't want you to have easy things in order to contest my zone with. It leaves Vilman a little exposed, but I'm okay with that for now. My goal is scenario here, and I score 2, I believe, and you score 0.
All right, back to me. I'm about to get a lesson in just how hard Durst's feat makes solos to kill. Going into this match, I knew your jacks would be pretty intense, but that base-to-base ability on it is deceptively good. So one of the things I want to do is I want to take your cavalry dude out down there, and I want to see if my Warhog and my Sea King can kind of dislodge that top flag area. Now this is going to be my feat turn. Carver's feat does 2 things. All Pharaoh models gain an extra die on damage. So unfortunately, the troll models that you bring in this cross theme aren't included in that. And then Pharaoh models also gain overtake. So my Warhog there is going to do pretty well. The Valkyries would have gotten a nice boost, but you took them off the table. And then Carver himself can actually do some work. He's got a power 15. The stone can make that a 16. And then another Vengeance of Dunia benefit is all the warlocks gain attuned spirit, so he can put that Pirate Troll Animus on himself, and all of a sudden Carver's swinging at a POW 18 Weapon Master on his own feat turn. So he's looking at this horsey boy. He's going to come on in, and he's going to take a couple swings with his sword, the Hand of God.
Yeah, I'm always surprised by the sword. It's real powerful.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Fun fact, Hand of God spells hog.
Oh, it's an acronym.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yep. He rolls badly in an attack, but he's got plenty of buys. He dismounts your horsey boy. Takes 1 more attack. I think this is his last fury after casting Batten.
Yeah,
And,
you wanted to make sure you
him.
had Batten out, but I think you spent most of the rest of it on making sure this champ is dead.
Yeah, he's got 1 left. I think I pop it on my stone. Or maybe not. Maybe I just leave it. Everything's in the stone anyway. So now I know I want to get something on this Archon. So I've got either my Warhog here, or I've got my Sea King. Now I do a little shuffling because I know he's got the his Ashen Veil. So I've got 2 options with the Sea King. I can shove up and get both initials because he's got the anchors, the 4-inch, or his big meaty fist on the left side is the 2-inch. And this is where knowing about that fire immunity clause in the Ashen Veil would have helped me out, because they do still have the Pirate Troll up there. He could have just gone first, put it on the Sea King, given him a nice little damage buff, and also taken Ashen Veil out of the equation.
Yeah, when you backed up there, you gave me a free strike, and you didn't need to do that if you just made him immune to fire, and he didn't care about Ashen Veil.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't care about the free strike either. He's an armor 24 Colossal that hasn't taken damage yet. He just brushes the mosquito away. So he's got 5 fury there. I give him a nice little buff from those that Dunia knot with their 3 puppet masters, and then I'm gonna go in with my initials and see how much damage I can do here.
Yep. He's defense 13, and you're mat 6, so you do need 7s to hit him.
Yep, I take the 50-50 gamble like 5 times, and I think I make 1 hit.
I think it's really a difficult choice for you, because I'm transferring them to armor 20 jacks anyway. It's a lot of boxes for you to have to chew through, so you do need a lot of these attacks. So I do understand why you were going for the gambles.
Moral of the story, 50-50 hits 0% of the time.
That poor purifier that you can see on my phone over there begs to differ.
He did some work. He just didn't do enough work. He needed a couple more attacks to at least take a jack out, if not the Archon that I actually wanted to kill. Now, if I had something else to take your cavalry dude down on the side, I could have, used that fury to put Quagmire on the Sea King instead. Or maybe if I had saved one attack to get one more fury, I could have swapped Quagmire onto him. But that's not the way it played out.
Champion's such an annoying roadblock. He just sits there and takes resources.
It felt good to kill him. It was worth it. My Pirate Troll's up here. He's trying to take your solo out on that flag. He does a little bit of damage, but he doesn't quite kill it. I do set him on fire, though, so maybe that'll kill him on your turn.
I think it would have been smarter if he just ran at the vassal and just contested my flag, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Rate of fire, too. It felt safe, but the dice were not in my favor.
More free strikes. Because your armor, I don't care.
Yep. So my Axer moves up. He takes a couple swings, but your on feet turn, it doesn't do much more than tickle a couple boxes away.
What was the Oh, you wanted room for the Warhog.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be within 6 of the Warhog in order to cast Rush on him. That's why you backed off.
Yes. Yeah, so he's got Rush. He moves over. Now in my feet turn, in the stone on a Warhog, he's rolling power 23 Weapon Master.
I'm armor 25. So I'm trying, man.
Still off 2, but if there's anything that can crack the potatoes feed, it is a pork chop. And so he's got his 3 initials, and then he can buy up to 4 more attacks. Way back when, before they got changed, you actually had to spend a Fury to use Aggression Dial on the Warhogs. And so one of the changes they made was they got rid of that, and they made the damage tack on to the end of the activation. So you don't have to do the math and wonder whether it's worth sacrificing just a bought attack. But it also keeps you from accidentally knocking out one of your own arcs if you're rolling that dial on a heavy that already took a little damage from some other source.
Yeah, they have 3 initials. I don't know if they needed the don't spend a Fury for it, but having a damage done on the end is definitely the way it should be.
So he doesn't quite kill the Jack. He's got the 1 more Fury, but I decide rather than play him hot, I'll leave your Jack on movement only.
Yeah, he's pretty useless right now.
Mm-hmm. You could still contest that flag, but I don't have a solo over there anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Your ground pounder continues to chunk my objective and be annoying. Importantly, my vassal burns to death, but not before scoring a point. I think.
I ran my chef up.
Oh yeah, you ran the
chef
chef around there. I think the Archon's hiding him.
Yeah, you can see the edge of his base on the Archon skirt there.
So I did score my bunker on your turn as well. So it's 4-2. I think I need to score 3, and I don't have it this turn. At least I don't think I do. You kindly helped me strategize this a little bit. I give the devout one, making sure I can clear off the chef, or maybe I go into the Pirate Troll here. I go with the choir. I want to move quickly because I know I have a clock advantage that I want to keep in case I can't win on scenario. So we battle again. The book goes ahead and runs into your zone just to make sure you don't score that point on my turn. I think that's crucial when you're playing on scenario, especially bunkers, if you are going to continuously score on your opponent's turn and he can't, then you kind of win. I go ahead and roll a Yahtzee on the chef, so I can score that flag with my Archon.
He is a fine, well-seasoned paste.
Crucially, he was more than 2 inches out of the Gargantuan there. So he did not take a free strike. I moved the Devout in. I think he's just taking swings on the Pyre Troll, just trying to cripple him and be in the way, so that you can't really get within 4 inches of the flag with that Gargantuan.
You do some damage on him, but he's still, he's armor 21 under all those armor buffs. So
yeah, the goal was to kill him, was to kill the
it.
Pyre Troll and make it so that you don't have a model over there that can test that flag. The Gargantuan being difficult to maneuver around those 2 lights that are defense civilian when they're base to base from Bulwark. I don't think I kill him, unfortunately, so that plan doesn't really pan out. Crucially, I am still sitting on my Templar in my own zone, and he's not doing anything. He really should be the one up there instead of the Devout, just kind of how this game shook out, because again, my plans are fluid. Here's where you point out where you have an objective. And I go, oh, maybe I can score 3 points this turn. Thanks, Pete. If I cast Boundless Charge on my Reckoner, the Reckoner can fit there and charge the objective. We're contesting your zone. I'm scoring the top, and I'm scoring my own bunker yet again. So it's quite possible to win on this turn, as long as I remove that box from the game. So we harmoniously exalt Durst. Durst just sits there. Durst dirtles over. He casts Boundless Charge for 1. Then we have my Reckoner go ahead and charge your objective. And you can see him over the book, because the book is man-sized, and the objective is a large base model. We go ahead and just roll damage on the book, because I auto hit him in melee. I buy another attack, I roll an 11, and I crush it.
Well, thank you so much for letting us film this amazing pork chop potato game. Durst we polled the Trash Panda Protectorate community, and they wanted to see Durst, so there you go. Pete, I always love seeing your Sea King. I think one of the first nights I met you at the store, I remember you brought the model in when you were still like converting it and building it, so it's really cool to see it on the table after all the hard work that you put into it. It's a great model. So thanks for bringing it over.
Yeah, he's definitely in this list mostly as an aesthetic choice. I think when we were rolling off, I was like, if I win the roll, I'm picking this side of the table just so the camera can get his image. It's great. I love seeing them, and I have a soft spot in my heart for piggies. So I'm a huge. The only minions army I own right now is a Pharaoh army, so I'm a big fan. Anyway, would you guys at this time, mind just sharing your post game thoughts? Yeah. So I was really excited to play this match because I've never actually faced Durst before. And every time I have a conversation with Andy about potential list pairings, you talk about the list you're really excited to play, and then you're like, I guess I pair it with Durst. But I've never actually seen your Durst list. So this was really fun for me to see the potato that everybody talks about, and maybe with a little cheese and sour cream on top.
Oh, he's full of cheese, that's for sure. The reason I like to put Durst into a pairing is just because he's so good at gun lines. Like, deceleration on top of his feet just means it's really difficult to just absolutely shred my army with guns alone. There are certainly factions that just want to do that.
The list I played today has a bunch of points sunk into range. It's got Des and Gubman, it's got the Barrage team. The Sea King's got that double scattering poison spray. The idea is that it can get those early volleys and soften up the army, but D-Cell kind of takes that off the table, which makes it really strong into, like you said, gun lines or even mixed arms like this. If you're spending 15 points on ranged options and those don't do anything, that's 15 points ahead right off the bat.
I love talking about the strategy I have with Durst, and I don't think it has once gone to plan where I do the whole Initiate, Archon, Shieldjack, one unit of that on either side. It just has never worked out. I don't know whether that's just me as a player just getting punched in the face, not having a plan anymore. But yeah, he's still he's not a very difficult caster to play. It's mostly about positioning and timing your feet with him.
I do think that part of the match went pretty much as we both thought it would, that you would feat and I would feat to correct your feat, and that's just what happened.
Yeah, I was kind of glad that most of your pigs were off the table by that point. You just had the Warhog and your caster to get the feat. Not that they didn't do an immense amount of work by themselves. But yeah, when it comes to the scenario, this being bunkers was probably easier for both of us. I had a few more throwaway models that I was able to throw into your zone, which allowed me to get up on scenario, and that kind of was the swinging factor of the game.
Yeah, I think if I'm building this list to scenario in the future, a couple faster options might be a good play, just to get something in your zone like you were able to and contest that. I'd still consider myself a developing player in terms of scenario. I think something that a lot of Mark II players fall into is a lot of the local metas in that time period basically just played caster kill. And so you see a lot of Mark II players that have very well-developed assassination and attrition games, but not a great scenario mindset. And so, like, at the end of the game, when I pointed out that you could kill my objective, that was a very proud moment for me, because it was like, ooh, look at me, I'm thinking about points.
Yeah, I'm really bad at seeing assassination vectors on my opponent, and sometimes on my own caster, which gets them killed. But yeah, I very rarely go for assassination unless it's kind of handed to me. I generally play for scenario and attrition, and I think that lends itself well to Protectorate. They're very much a get hit back, try and overwhelm the opponent eventually. But really good game, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, good game, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. If you would like to check out some additional content, including the original video and audio of our battle reports to support the channel, please click our Patreon link in the video description below. If there are any factions, warcasters, or warlocks you would like to see on the channel, please let us know in the comments. And as always, see you on the next Tried and True Battle Report.